Hey, and welcome to video number 2, which is email organization. Now, before I show you some step-by-step videos, I want to briefly talk about email organization, some tips and tricks that you can use starting today. Now, there's not really a one set rule that you must follow in terms of email organization, but first I want to talk about different types of people. There are different types of users. So if you can figure out which category you fall into, then you can organize your email in a better way, because not everybody falls in the same category. First of all, there are people called searchers, people that like to search for their emails. I tend to fall into that category because it's less work. But at the same time, I like to categorize my emails at the same time, because I know that searching is not going to be able to solve all of my needs. So for example, if I need an email, I need to get a password that I received from a business partner, then I tend to go to Gmail and do a search for that password. However, what I've found over the years is that it's easier if I actually categorize my emails in different categories. And because I'm a searcher, you still want to, categorize your emails. Then you have a person called a filer, a person that loves to file stuff. These types of people, if this sounds like you like to have everything nice and neat. So basically you are very, very organized. Now, if you're very organized, you're probably thinking, why do I need this video? Well, you're going to learn a few tricks from this video, even if you are organized or you're not. Now, if you are organized, then you're a filer, so you like to have everything neat and nice. If that's you, we'll talk about more tricks in just a minute. Then you have somebody called the tagger. This type of person is sort of in between the searcher and the filer. I've become more of a searcher slash filer slash tagger. And tagger likes to put little hints, like you put labels. Instead of, for example, filing by a business category, you will say something like, this email deals with, business, but it deals with this specific keyword. So you might tag it with a keyword or a hint and so forth. So now that you understand the 3 types, and there are many more different types of people out there, but that's pretty much the general category. Now let's talk about the do's and don'ts. Now I want to talk about the do's and don'ts and categories and so forth before I move to Gmail and Yahoo and show you how to create labels and how to create categories, which are pretty much the same thing. Do delete the spam and unnecessary emails. You definitely want to, on a daily basis, you want to delete the spam. You want to delete unnecessary emails. For example, if you're running an online business, most likely you're signing up on different lists. If you really don't need to be on that list, then I'd highly recommend to unsubscribe from that list. But at the same time, make sure that you delete all the emails in your inbox that have nothing to do with your productivity and so forth. So delete the spam and delete the unnecessary emails at least once a week. But do not delete the sent emails. For example, you know how you send an email, it's going to be saved in your sent folder. For the past 3-4 years, I've never deleted a sent email unless it's an email that is not really needed. But I try not to delete sent emails. That way you can go back to your archive, and just in case you need those emails in the future. You definitely want to filter by creating labels and categories. You want to filter by person. So whether you're a searcher, whether you're a filer, or whether you're a tagger, I'd highly recommend that you create a category by person or by business person. Now, you don't have to create a filter in terms of customers, unless that's a major customer. But when I say by person, I'm talking about like business partners, you know, virtual assistants, and so forth. Because a lot of times you'll want to find an email from a certain person, and that'll just make it life easier. Filter by business, filter by expense and income. I actually filter and create labels for my expenses for 2009, 11, 10, 11. And filter by income, because guess what? When you're doing your taxes in the future, you're going to need to find which ones are expenses and which ones are incomes and net profit and so forth. So by filtering and categorizing, you will be able to do that at a fast pace. And don't be like me in 2006 when I ran my business and I did taxes and I had to find every single expense. And I know that I lost some expenses and wasn't able to deduct that. And because of that, I lost a lot of money. Empty your trash daily and create a to-do folder. A lot of times with email, because I run an online business, I create a to-do list and I email myself. But then I forget what needs to be done and so forth. And by creating a simple to-do folder, you get rid of that problem. Now let's talk about labels and categories in terms of, going to Gmail, how do you create a label and category? In Gmail, a folder is basically called a label. At Yahoo, it's called a category. So it really depends on the email system that you use. So let's go ahead and go to Gmail and create a label. So to create a label, all you need to do is click on labels, as you can see here. One thing I want to get straight is you want to create a filter and a label, because the difference between the two is a label is like a folder. So it's like it holds your stuff. And then the filter allows you to basically label something. So what I want you to do is click on create a filter. And then what you can do here is, let's say that you want to categorize by person. So anything from, let's say this specific email@email.com, we click on next. And what we want to do is apply a label. What you do is click this, go all the way to it's at the top, click on new label, and we'll call it email@email.com. Click on OK, and you've created an email label for the email@email.com. So you've created the label email@email.com. So anytime email@email.com emails you, it's going to be automatically labeled as this. And then let's say that 10 days later you receive 10 emails from email@email.com and you want to find all those emails, and this will be good for documentation. For example, if email@email, the person here was your business partner and you said, hey, I want you to go back to the emails, look at what we've discussed, and document it. Well, it's easy for you because you set up a label and click on create, and then just go down here and click on label email@email. And this will basically help you in the long run when you try to do documentation by person, by business, and so forth. So you can see how easy it is to organize your emails at gmail.com. Let's go ahead and go to yahoo.com. Yahoo is just as easy, and what you do is you go to the bottom here and you click on My Folders, click on Add, and all you have to do is name the folder. So if I say email@email.com, and that's it.